Usually, financial planners' websites are very outdated. And if they are designed well and they've been launched recently, rarely do they have the inbuilt tracking and data in place to make it actually effective for their business. Well, we just did the full case study for our recent site launch with our partners Endurance Financial Planning. So in this video, I'm going to go through all the problems they faced, a little bit about the client. I'm going to go into our results in just the first week post-launch and diving into some of the analytics software that we've had in place pre-launch to justify some of the results that we're seeing. And then we're going to go into the tool stack. I'm going to walk through all of these: Reloom for ideation, Figma for design, Webflow for development, Markup for feedback, and then all of our data and analytics tools that make the website effective. So I'm going to go through all of these one at a time. I have most of the links to the softwares pulled up, and I'm basically just going to show you guys my process from start to finish as I do with these launches. Super excited to dive in. Welcome to Endurance Financial Planning. Here we go. Okay, so starting off strong here, some of the problems with Craig's site. One of the first big problems we wanted to address is he had no local search authority, had no Google business profile, was not getting reviews. And his blog section was very white labeled, so every time he would publish a new blog, was not keyword optimized around any kind of strategy. He is a tax advisory in Dublin, Ohio, so he does financial advising, a little bit of tax strategy and planning, but mostly on the long-term financial side. A lot of his leads come from his accounts and referral group of Ramsey SmartVestor Pro. He's also in a lot of local networking chapters. He's been established in Dublin, Ohio. I guess we're getting more into Craig's details, but I met Craig through AmSpirit, which is a local networking chapter here in Dublin, and we just wanted to redesign his site. He was feeling like it wasn't kind of living up to his needs. It was a very white labeled templated design from a company called LPL, who manages financial planners marketing in Canada, is where they're based. He just wanted to be more in touch with it. He wanted to have editing access. He wanted to, most important to him was a very visual redesign. And we accomplished a lot of those goals together. So as you can see, scrolling through here, we have our homepage, we have user segmentation with the different links. So these are his 6 most targeted client bases. He has an informational page right here with all his services, tax planning, financial planning, wealth management, estate management. And then we have our automated form here where users can opt in to get confirmation. We have a nice little directive call to action or FAQ section here of on-brand interactive. He really wanted to emphasize the design elements on this website to set him apart because he did come from his previous site, which, as you will see, is far less sophisticated. This is on our staging domain now. Just looking at it before, had a lot of problems making updates and changes because everything was white labeled, and he really wasn't a fan of the design. The calls to action weren't very optimally located, especially if you guys can see the main call to action is off the page. And this isn't in the center of the page like this above the header is not very good from a user friendliness standpoint. The website was not optimally responsive on all breakpoints, and it did not meet his needs. So the new site is a lot better designed, speaks to the target consumer a lot more, and we'll talk about some of these segmentation. So his 6 main core value offerings: he serves business owners, he serves Ramsey SmartVestor Pro. These are all the people that will get traffic to the site. So we really a big focus was to segment them by user and make sure that they had a tailored service page for their individual financial service needs. And that looked like business owners. Dave Ramsey SmartVestor Pro, he gets a lot of backlinks from their referral engine. So we want to make sure we have something that people can identify with a logo, the group, and this is a really powerful one right here. Newlyweds, OSU employees, retirees, and school teachers. And in terms of the segmentation on the site, we really wanted to have a self-selector for people to identify. And if you go into each of these pages, each of them is a custom landing page for each one with a strong call to action. And all of these links are tailored using the Webflow CMS. so that you can go into each one and they will take you to the right financial advisor. So Craig, for instance, handles Newlyweds. So boom, his link goes straight to Craig's page, and all of the links are tailored towards a redirect, which goes straight to Craig's page. So we wanted users, when they get in touch, to self-identify for the right type of call with the right financial advisor. Endurance has 3 team members. There's Craig, Jake, and Jim here handles a lot of the OSU employees, and we wanted to make sure that when traffic came to the site, it was going to the right person. So that's why there is poor local search authority and users weren't being segmented correctly on the site. No analytics tracking in place. There was no customization freedom, and there's no inbuilt list features. So everything now is hooked up to Constant Contact, which is Craig's mailer of choice. I don't usually prefer to use that with a lot of clients. I prefer something more along the lines of or MailerLite in terms of email, something that's a bit more automated and user-friendly. And Constant Contact is kind of a all-in-one solution, and it's a little outdated for my taste, but we made it work for this project. And yeah, moving on, I guess we can go into the ideation phase. So this is the site mapping phase. We do everything in Reloom, and this is kind of where we started. So Craig and I met up. We took the existing site, pulled a site map from the XML, and just said, like, okay, this is your existing pages. This is what our recommendations for optimizing it are. And he was very open-minded in terms of taking our feedback. So what we did was we made sure we had all these pages covered, but also accessible in the homepage. So he really, like I said, something that was really important to him was making sure that users had a way they could self-select and identify based on his target audience. So like I said, those were retirees, business owners, Dave Ramsey SmartVestor Pro referrals, Newlyweds, OSU employees, retirees, and school teachers. So this was the ideation phase where we really just said, okay, these are going to be the structure and the sections for each of those, and then how those will link together based on the homepage and displaying that message effectively. And then from the site mapping, we went on to wireframing, which was basically taking the skin and bones elements of these. And Reloom is a bit restrictive in their layouts and components. So sometimes you kind of have to justify it, and a lot of these things get changed throughout the design development process. So that was kind of our strategy, and you'll see some of these don't exactly match the site as it ended up being built. So this is where we started. We knew we wanted to have our user segmentation, so having all of our different service offerings right here, full body form at the bottom, and a nicely designed footer. This was a template for our Meet a Team page, very straightforward and simple. A services page for all of his main services, which, as you can see on this site, is nice and well designed. Boom, all 4 of the services on a unique page. And he also has a blog section. So we used and this is interactive and segments out as well. So all of these are categorized using the Webflow CMS, which is really cool. And if we go to the blog template section, something that's really neat is there's a constant call to action on all of these. Strong image. There is inbuilt social links as well for sharing. So this will redirect to Facebook for an instant repost. This will redirect to X for an instant reshare on X. And this will redirect to LinkedIn for a tweet to serve up as a post. So, which is really cool. And now he can easily share all of his posts on his social platforms when he's logged in. Oh, and this is also a breadcrumbs feature that we built into Webflow. So a little bit more about the site, all of our terms and disclosures in the bottom, some more user segmentation with all of our links in the footer. This form here is linked to Constant Contact, as is our main calls to action on the homepage. So that's a little bit more about the design. And these are our template pages for our target audiences as identified in Reloom. As you can see, they are very templated. So we got to use the Webflow CMS for this build. So if we go to our service areas, we can populate what each of those pages looks like. So if we go into each of them, we can set rigid styles for every single service, for every single target service category, and then tie these fields into the page as we develop it. So I'll show you guys how this works. So you can implement all your data in here, and this allows Craig to go in and make changes on the fly. He has the copy that's in here, he has the images that are being featured, the assignee headshot. So this is the financial planner that is involved with their before taking care of this specific target audience is always included right here. And then different sections for all the text that's clearly labeled and descriptive so that he knows where it's going to be populated on the site. This is a unique call to action for each one, and the photos that go on each page. So yeah, that's a little bit about how the CMS works, and you can see they're all a little bit different. And then if we go to the CMS template page here in Webflow, and this is where we develop everything. If we go to the CMS template page right here, then you can see where all these things begin to populate. So this is there, it's just not loading right now, but that's where the name of the page goes. This is where the call to action link goes, the subheading text, and then each of the main things. This is the main heading 1, description 1, image 1, image 2, etc. So it allows us to keep a very uniform style, but also have unique elements within each service page, which is really cool. So as you can see, they are all a little bit different. And this Webflow CMS section for the blogs has a filter on it so that these blogs will always categorize with blog posts tagged with that unique topic. So say they're on the school teachers section now, they're going to get populated with blogs that are tagged for school teachers. SmartVesta Pro members, same function. Their blog section is only going to have those articles in it as well, which is really cool. This is how you start to present different calls to action towards different users at the right time. And that's a big part of building a healthy site, and it's something that he did not have before we started. Next up, back to the Miro board, we're going to be talking a little bit about the results, the fun part. So like I said, one of the biggest improvements, and by the way, I'm going to be linking to the case study in the description of this video if you guys want to read the full thing. So here it is. I just published it today on the site. Make sure you go check it out. All of our powerful stats, links to the live site, everything I'm going to be talking about in this one, the whole tool stack, results, conclusion, and then a little bit of behind the scenes throughout the build. So check that out. Head over to mmgdesign.net if you want to read and expand more upon the substance of this video. So next, we just have a couple of mock-ups in here. So some of the results. So as soon as we launched Craig's site just a few weeks ago, hooked it up to Google Search Console, Google Analytics, and all of our tracking tools that we have here in this stack. And I'll go into each of these one at a time, what we use them for. So in terms of the results, though, the fun part. So just after launching in the first week, we have an increase in active users, events, and new users. So that means the amount of people that are on the site, the amount of people that are engaging, and the amount of people locally are all increasing search traffic to the site. And another thing that we did is, as you'll notice, so on his old website, this is just a straight redirect to the Once Hub page, which is not ideal. In case you guys wanted to know, like, a lot of main calls to action are for like a Calendly link or your unique booking link. Craig uses Once Hub, and it's actually best practices to have a conversion page on your website so you can track it a lot easier, and you can track what button clicks are going to that page that are converting to book calls. So what we did was we made the main call to action be an embed on his calling page, and we named it uniquely so we can track this URL, how many people are coming to it, and what our best referring pages to this page are. So if they're on the OSU employees page, how many of those people are clicking calls to action that are leading to this booking page? And it gets us a lot more in-depth feedback in terms of where people are coming from on the site, what pages are converting best, and just general best practices. So that's a big improvement up on his last build. And some of the trends and data, there's, like I said, huge increase in overall search. traffic to the home page, traffic to all of our different pages. As you can see, you can't really see their names, but as you can see, everything's trending upward, and that's really all you're looking for, in the first week of launch, is to make sure that your blog posts are targeting the right keywords that you built, and then that you're just steadily seeing, an increase in traffic. It's important to set expectations with the client to not expect a huge influx as soon as you push launch. In fact, it can also decrease. So we do expect traffic to go down in the next couple weeks after the natural boost from the domain connection. But yeah, and also some of our analytics data. A 3.2 pages viewed per session, 56% scroll depth, which is pretty impressive. Most people don't make it past 30. And for you guys that don't know, that's the amount of depth that you scroll through on the homepage. Active time spent 1.3 minutes, so pretty good. Each user on our site is staying there for 1.3 minutes. This is all from Microsoft. By the way, some of this data. Okay, next I want to talk about our tool stack. So we talked about Reloom, we talked about Webflow a little bit. I kind of skipped over Figma, so I'll pull up our design file in Figma right now. I didn't spend a ton of time in this design phase. I really just kind of mocked up the hero section to show Craig, and then basically presented the wireframe of the homepage in terms of how it was going to look. We did use a lot of Webflow apps in development to make this stuff come to life, and I want to talk about some of those. So, like for example, on the homepage, one of our biggest things that Craig wanted was tooltips for each of the services offerings. So something like this, where he didn't want a unique page, he just wanted a tooltip description that was based on his copy. And as you can see, you get a nice little tooltip for each one. There's a really great Webflow app you can install to do this on a low-code version. That's a great addition to the site. It's nice and interactive, very clean. And yeah, it was a great addition to the site. Another thing I wanted to touch on was our data and tools. So this is the fun part. I'm a huge tool nut. So like I said, for data, we use Google Analytics to hook up and track the traffic post-launch. We use Microsoft Clarity to really identify where users are on the site, performance, and everything that we need to fix and change as the website improves. We can view performance data, what devices users are viewing us on, systems, countries, traffic, screen recordings, heat maps, all this stuff. So highly recommend Microsoft Clarity if you haven't checked it out. Another big part of our process too is analytics reporting. So this is our Looker Studio template where we meet upon every month, Craig and I, to discuss what pages are converting the best, what pages are getting the most traffic, and it changes for the upcoming month, as we improve on it. And the rest of our tool stack here: Microsoft Clarity, SEMrush, Google Keyword Planner, Zapier for the form automations, Looker Studio for reporting, and Constant Contact to redirect calls, redirect the emails entered from call bookings, and the form submissions and lead magnets on the site into his mailing list, so we can opt into a nurture sequence. The last thing I wanted to show you guys was the content doc structure that we used as a central planning piece for this. And this one was basically a central place where Craig and I could collaborate. He dropped in a lot of images of stuff that he liked in terms of visual reference. One of the sites we really liked was Carson Wealth, and we referenced that very strongly in our design because they just have a great way of segmenting users, presenting their services, very clean to our same target demographic. We really love their section for segmenting their target audiences and also their section as well. So there's a lot of strong correlations here. This is where we some of our design ideas for lead magnets, and where that's ongoing implementation in terms of where to input all of those as the site grows. Some email automations in terms of our meetings, and this is from a while ago, but just a general audit of his online presence and how that was going to work with the site. Some of the design references that we discussed in the very beginning, and yeah, just notes for ongoing calls. This is what I usually do, is just share a copy doc with clients and allow them to go in and check on ideas, updates. Having a central place for communication is really big. So I highly recommend having something like this for your clients if you are a freelancer to go in and manage projects. So that's going to wrap it up for this case study. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys learned a thing or two about the web design, development, branding process from this launch of Endurance Financial. Like I said, I covered a good amount, but I wanted to keep it pretty simple and high level. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next case study. Peace.